It's January 19th today, and as we record, it's been 54 days since the farmers arrived at Delhi's borders. As of today, the National Investigation Agency has summoned over 40 people involved in the protests against the Narendra Modi government's new farm laws. For the last 2 months, I and my News Laundry colleagues, Basant, Ayush, Meghnad, Tahir, Aditya, Lippy, Avdesh and Anna have been travelling to the border to bring you stories from the ground zero. Yes, a lot has happened in the last 2 months. The Delhi winter has gotten harsher, the protest has gained more strength, the government has held multiple rounds of talks, and the Supreme Court has taken up the matter. The Khalistan narrative looms somewhere in the background, and the National Investigation Agency has made its entrance. And yet, everything remains in a flux. As of today, the farmers are saying that they're done with living on the highway. On 26th January, that is the Republic Day, they say they will march into the capital city whether you like it or not. Since so much has happened, and while we wait to find out who will grab our screen time on Republic Day, will it be Modi ji or will it be our Kisan, I thought I'd give you a quick rundown on everything that's happened with the farmer protests so far. On June 5th, at the peak of the pandemic, President Ramnath Kovind signed 3 agriculture-related ordinances. First, the Farmer Produce Trade and Commerce Promotion and Facilitation Ordinance 2020. Second, the Farmer Empowerment and Protection Agreement on Price Assurance and Farm Services Ordinance 2020. And third, the Essential Commodities Amendment Ordinance 2020. The very next day, protests began in Punjab. And on June 14th, a detailed press release was issued by a farmer union strongly opposing the ordinances. By 21st July, around 11 farmer unions had joined hands in protest, and in a matter of days, the number grew to 31. Nakabandis or village blockades were organized, effigies of BJP leaders were burned, and coordinated protests began taking place. On September 10th, the bills were introduced in the Lok Sabha. Here's what the Union Agriculture Minister had to say.
कि एक तो भारत सरकार की बुद्धि पर आपको इतना भरोसा होना चाहिए कि जो हम कानून लाए हैं उस कानून लाने का अधिकार भारत सरकार को है.
The following week, farmer unions began organizing the Rail Roko protests. On 20th September, the bills were then introduced in Rajya Sabha. And we all know how that went. Or do we?
None of the PS systems are working. This government did not allow us in the opposition. On the farmers' bill, we all had resolutions to send this to a select committee. The rule of the House says that if one member also asks for a voting, this government knew that they were not in a position to pass this bill. There were 13 or 14 opposition parties.
And despite that chaos, on September 27th, the President gave his nod to the 3 contentious agriculture bills. Moving on, to October 3rd, the protests began gaining strength, and the BJP formed an 8-member panel in Punjab to talk to farmers. 3 rounds of inconclusive talks were held. On November 23rd, farmer unions in Punjab and Haryana were like, Delhi chalo. Meanwhile, the Delhi government denied farmers permission to stage a rally at either the Ram Leela ground or at Jantar Mantar, and the Delhi police also rejected requests to hold protests by farmers. By this time, the farmer protest had gained the support of close to 500 farmer organizations, and there was no stopping them. On November 26th, farmers making their way to Delhi along different highways of Haryana were met with violence by the Haryana police. Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar had ordered borders between Punjab and Haryana to be closed to force the protesters to back off. But this only angered the farmers even more. And the force used by Haryana police proved fairly unsuccessful. Finally, after 5 months of protests in their home states, on November 27th, thousands of farmers arrived along the borders of Delhi. At Singhu, the protest site, Delhi police had set up huge barricades, and along with the police, there was also the BSF, the CISF and the CRPF present to stop the farmers from entering the capital. The farmers arrived by noon, and here's how that went.
Moving in there, you can see the police in riot gear with lathis also attempting to push back the farmers while the farmers are trying to push through.
Meanwhile, realizing the scale of the protest, the Delhi police asked for permission to convert 9 stadiums in Delhi not into protest sites or shelters, but into temporary jails. The Delhi government denied this permission. By evening, the Modi government had agreed to open the Sant Nirankar ground for the farmers to stage their protests. But this ground is barely 8 kilometers from Singhu border, and the farmers call this offer a joke. They were very sure that if they fell for this bait, they would just end up protesting in an isolated ground and nobody would care. So that Friday night, on November 27th, it became clear that the farmers would not be entering Delhi, at least not that day. They set up camp and decided to spend the night on the highway. Well, it's been 2 months since, and they're still there. The very next day, Amit Shah said he would talk to the farmers if and only if they shifted their protest to the Nirankar grounds. The farmers refused and stayed put where they were. Unsurprisingly, our diligent TV anchors began giving the farmers' protest an utterly distasteful twist.
इस आंदोलन को अब राजनीतिक पार्टियों और खालिस्तानियों ने हाईजैक कर लिया है। वो किसान आंदोलन में खालिस्तान आंदोलन की खतरनाक मिलावट की गवाही दे रहे हैं
कि किसान आंदोलन के पर्दे में दुश्मन पंजाब में दोबारा खालिस्तानी आतंक को हवा देने की फिराक में।
Last week, Disinfo Lab did some digging and found out that ironically, the narrative of a Khalistan hand in the farmer protests actually began in Pakistan, propagated by sponsored social media influencers of the Inter-Services Public Relation, the PR wing of the Pakistan Armed Forces. And instead of debunking the fake news, Indian influencers, who the report calls useful idiots, lapped this up. And for a change, it seemed like sections of both India and Pakistan were suddenly agreeing on something, and thus a lovely new friendship was built on the foundations of fake news. Who would have thought? Anyway, this journey of the Khalistan conspiracy theory is a long and dramatic one. I've done a report on it, which you can read on newslaundry.com. Now, we at News Laundry, we can freely debunk fake news and call out anybody we want because we are not kept alive by money from advertisers or governments. We are supported by you, the public. So keep supporting us. For when the advertiser pays, the advertiser is served. And when the public pays, the public is served. On 3rd December, the government held a round of talks with over 40 farmer leaders. It was the government's first engagement with the farmers after they had arrived in Delhi. Nothing came out of it. The farmers said, repeal the laws and write MSP into law. The government said, no, we will not. And everybody went home. On December 5th, they met for a second round of talks. Nothing came out of that either. On 8th December, the farmers called for a Bharat Bandh, and many farmers from other states extended their support to the ongoing protest. The same evening, they met with Amit Shah, and the only thing that came out of that meeting was that the farmers came out even more determined to continue their protests. After the failed meeting with the Home Minister, the farmers called off their third round of talks with the government, scheduled for the next day. The government was now slowly starting to realize that the farmers were not going to budge easily, so they offered to make some amendments to the law. They said, we could dilute the major provisions of the marketing reform laws, including taxation and dispute resolution, and address some of the concerns relating to the weakening of the minimum support price regime. To this too, the farmers said no. With this deadlock in place, on December 11th, some farmer groups approached the Supreme Court, and by December 16th, the Supreme Court indicated that it may form a committee to end the deadlock. Meanwhile, even though the government kept saying we're ready to talk, they also said this.
पहले जैसे एमएसपी दी जाती थी वैसे ही दी जाती रहेगी। एमएसपी न बंद होगी न समाप्त होगी।
On the other hand, some BJP members began further maligning the protest. Take a look at what Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad had to say about why the talks between the government and the farmers were failing.
अगर किसानों के आंदोलन की आड़ में भारत को तोड़ने वाले लोग टुकड़े टुकड़े लोग पीछे होकर आंदोलन के कंधे से गोली चलाएंगे तो उनके खिलाफ बहुत सख्त कार्रवाई भी की जाएगी।
On December 21st, the farmers went ahead and held a one-day relay hunger strike. On December 30th, another round of talks took place between the farmers and the governments. This was the third round after their arrival near Delhi and the sixth round in total. It was in this meeting that some headway was made. The government agreed to exempt the farmers from the stubble burning penalty and dropped changes in the Electricity Amendment Bill. Along with the 3 agriculture bills, these were the 2 other bills that the farmers were protesting against. On January 4th, the 4th round of inconclusive talks were held between the farmers and the government. And on January 7th, the farmers held a rehearsal for a tractor rally. This was a symbolic rally being held as a show of strength, and also to prepare for the rally on 26 January, which is Republic Day. The farmers had already announced that they would be organizing a tractor march to Delhi that day. We attended the rally, and here is what we saw. And here is what they had to say.
टॉक्स के बाद गवर्नमेंट मानेगी
थोड़ा फिल्म का ट्रेलर शुरू किया हमने आज फिल्म का ट्रेलर शुरू है
आज ट्रेलर है
हाँ पिक्चर बाकी है अभी
The next day, the farmers and the government engaged in yet another inconclusive round of talks. This was the 5th round. On January 11th, the Supreme Court took up the matter of the farmer protests for hearing. After chiding the government for its handling of the protests, the court suggested a stay on the implementation of the laws. They also suggested that children, elderly, and women go back home and not be kept at the protest. This did not go down well with the women on ground.
ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਰਾਦਾ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਸਾਡੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪੈਲੀ ਬੰਨਾ ਸੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਖੋਨੇ ਆ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਡਰ ਕੇ ਚਲੇ ਜਾਣਗੇ ਪਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਡਰਨ ਵਾਲੇ ਨਹੀਂਗੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਪੈਲੀ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਜਾਵਾਂਗੇ
The same night, that is January 11th, the farmers declined to join the Supreme Court in its efforts to form a committee, claiming that they no longer trusted the government to have any discussion on repealing the laws. Meanwhile, the government went ahead and told the court that they were not at all considering repealing the laws, since most farmers were actually happy with the laws. They also told the court that the laws were not passed in a hurried manner as alleged by the critics. Finally, on January 12th, the Supreme Court said that they would make a 4-member committee to hear the farmers' grievances about the new laws. Who were these 4 members? All pro-farm law experts. Obviously, the farmer unions rejected this committee. Meanwhile, something else had happened during the Supreme Court hearings on the 11th and 12th of January. Attorney General of India, K.K. Venugopal, told the court that Khalistanis had infiltrated the protests. He said he would file an affidavit to back up his claims after taking input from the Intelligence Bureau. On 15th January, the 9th round of inconclusive talks were held. The same day, one of the members of the Supreme Court committee, Bhupinder Singh Mann, the national president of the Bharatiya Kisan Union, recused himself from the committee, stating that there was absolutely no point in having a committee if the farmers were not going to engage with it. On January 18th, the Supreme Court said the tractor rally to be held on Republic Day was a matter of law and order and had to be decided by the Delhi police. The next day, out of the blue, the National Investigation Agency summoned nearly 40 people involved in the protests. This was after a case was filed against the banned pro-Khalistan organization based in Vancouver, Canada, called the Sikhs for Justice, who had put out a letter stating that they would pay 10,000 rupees to anyone who would join the protests. The NIA is now investigating funding links between the SFJ and the farmer protests. On 19th January, that is today, the day we're shooting this, the farmers in the centre were supposed to sit down for the 10th round of talks, but it has been pushed to tomorrow. Also tomorrow, on Jan 20th, the Supreme Court will once again take up the matter for hearing. As of today, after 9 rounds of utterly useless talks, the farmers continue their sit-in protest along Delhi's border. They have said that they will enter Delhi on 26 January. With the British Prime Minister Boris Johnson backing out as the chief guest at the Republic Day celebrations, it is possible that if the tractor march does happen, all eyes might not be only on Modi, but maybe some will be on the tractors doing some stunts.
ये मैंने